Peace, world. What's going on? This week on Substantial Weekly, we're going to talk about this new album, Adultish, which is officially available on Bandcamp, and we're going to talk about a lot more. Y'all stay tuned. Peace. What's going on, family? Welcome to another Substantial Weekly. Of course, I am Substantial. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate everybody's patience. Whole lot going on, man. Man, it is release day, so of course, my life is crazy. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, thank y'all so much for being here, man. Clap it up for yourselves. Great to see everybody. Shout out to everyone in the chat holding me down per usual. Peace was going on. We got my man Joshua McGee in the building. Malik Carter's in the building. We got JS Rock tuning in on Twitch. Shout out to those of you watching on Twitch, or if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, all that good stuff. Shout out to Nice Afro, Soul Tiger, that guy Frankie, Frank Goita, and did I miss anybody? I think I got most of the crew. And to those of you who are watching in the background, it is great to have you here as well, man. Yeah, it's release day. at least for those of you who use Bandcamp, and then of course for those of you who are on Kickstarter and Patreon, you've already heard the album. But man, thank you to everybody, man. Thank y'all so much. Like this, it's been a lot of work finishing this record. And there's parts of this record that still aren't done. The music's done, but we're still waiting on different physical merch to come in. And so that's exciting, man. It's really, really exciting. Let me scoot up a little bit. But yeah, man, thank y'all to everyone who supported the new record. We're going to talk about it in detail in a minute, but I just wanted to thank y'all a million times over, man, because the love has been crazy. For those of you who've heard the album already, the feedback I've been getting, man, from everybody has been humbling, to say the least. It feels good to be appreciated. For those of you who know about the love languages and you've heard me talk about it before, you know that words of affirmation is my love language. And so, man, the love that people have been showing with the feedback they've given me on the new album has been crazy. It's been really, really positive. With some folks, with some of my peers saying things like it's the best record I've ever done. And a lot of the fans just praising the consistency and high level of like the rhymes and the beats, which I also produce. So it's good to know I ain't let folks down, man, because it might not seem like a risk sometimes doing this stuff, but there's a lot of risk involved. A lot of time invested, and then trusting y'all, having faith in me enough where a lot of you pre-ordered the album and supported on Kickstarter. So for those of you who did that and heard the record and weren't disappointed, man, I thank you so much for putting your faith in me, as an artist and stuff, man. It means the world. But shout out to everybody. Let's get back into these comments. Peace, what's going on? Ellis, good to see you up in here. Q and 5's in the building. Clap it up. Q and 5. All right. My brothers. All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been, Ellis, I haven't seen you around here much, but I've been talking about it for quite some time now. So definitely I appreciate you in advance for checking it out. Peace. What's going on? Avis in the building. Thank you, man. I appreciate the love. Hold on. Hey, someone said sub don't miss. Malik, I appreciate that. Thank you. This week, the song of yours that I've been listening to a lot is No Turning Back 2.0. Great song. Hi from Chile. Again, peace. What's going on? Chile in the building. That's love. For you to know, even hear many people like a lot of your music, man, I'm grateful. Thank you so much. I'm over here tripping over my words, man. I appreciate the love, Let's going through more comments. Just bought the digital on Bandcamp. You're one of the few artists where I will buy your stuff blindly without hearing, because I love and support you so much. Wow, thank you, man. Your content has always been solid and consistent. That means the world. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. We ain't even get to the part of the show where I'm really diving into the album, so I'm gonna keep it pushing real quick. But man, I appreciate all the love. Peace. What's going on, sis? Good to see you up in here. Good Friday to you too. Been following you since my early teens. One of the people that got me into soulful hip hop. Thank you. Appreciate it. One, peace. Good to see you up in here, fam. All right. And C Cruz, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you for being here. Man, we 30 deep today. Yeah, man. It's great to see everybody. Shout out to everyone watching, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Grateful to have you here. But let's talk about a couple things. There is some other stuff I kind of want to get out the way before diving all the way into the album. But yeah, 1 second behind the scenes. I'm trying to resolve this one little thing. So for those who don't know, I have a podcast that I do with my business partner and wife, that it's called, the podcast is called ARTdustry. I was about to say the podcast is called Podcast. But yeah, man, it's called ARTdustry, where art meets industry. And we talked to a lot of creative entrepreneurs. We talked to my brother Tone Deaf this season. We talked to Bisco Smith, Tony Concept, Brown. Who else we talked to? My man Millen. We just talked to Pinky Ring, which was an amazing episode as well. Yeah, man, just shout out to all the dope guests we've had on the show. And I wanted to take a moment just to plug the podcast, and also take a moment to plug Sub Art and Music, because a lot of you follow what I do and support what I do, but a lot of folks aren't aware what our business does and what my business does. We run a consulting service that supports other creative entrepreneurs. And the podcast, we highlight some of the different artists that we've worked with, a lot of whom we call friends. Some are pop stars in other countries. Like, one of our guests was Verbal from M-Flow. We've interviewed Shingo 2, Funky DL, Marcus D. And then we've interviewed people who are arts administrators, like people who work at the African American Museum, the Smithsonian here in DC. And then people who are directors of programs like Joe's Movement Emporium here in the DMV. And so, we had Asheru on the show as well. So we've had Tracy Lee, another hip hop legend. So we've had some really, really dope guests on the show. And I highly recommend that folks go and check out our Artdustry podcast, which is really, really dope. And so for those who don't know, you could check out the YouTube channel here. This is what our YouTube channel looks like, but be sure to subscribe. We only have 342 subscribers on that channel because obviously it's not necessarily a hub for my music. So it's not as popular as this particular YouTube channel. However, we are working on growing it. As of late, the last 2 episodes of our podcast have somewhere between 1,700 to 2,000 views here on YouTube. With the additional promotion we've been doing. So it's been growing, man. We've been getting some love and stuff, and we are really close to monetization status on the channel. So if you could subscribe and you haven't already, please do so. Just on YouTube, just search Sub Art and Music, and you'll see me and this beautiful lady right there. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And as I mentioned before, the recent episode, we were talking to the homie Pinky Ring, super dope artist. For any of you from Chicago, should definitely check her out, support what she's doing. A Puerto Rican MC who gets busy, but she's also what I like to call an artivist. She's an artist who's also an activist, does a lot of great work in Chicago, supporting the youth and other creatives in her community. She also has a role that I have as well, which is a U.S. ambassador of hip hop for the State Department through an organization called Next Level. So she's gone around the world teaching hip hop culture and working with different communities, such as like communities in Cambodia. And I work with communities out in Romania. So, man, super dope sister, worth celebrating. Great spirit, doing great work. Support, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get introduced to more dope folks like her. And for those of you who are familiar with Q&5 Music, we have a great interview with Tone Deaf as well, who's top-notch MC, one of the greatest to ever do it, and that's my brother. So check out that episode. It's great as well. So many great episodes. But yeah, man, just wanted to point that out to you. Before we get into this album, couple more little things I wanted to share with y'all. Hold on. Let's get this up here. Boom, 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 boom. Let's get these upcoming events, because we got a couple events coming up. So real quick, again, for those of you patiently waiting for us to talk about the album, we shall be talking about the album. We will play some of the album, all that good stuff. I just need you to hold tight with me because I want to get some of this stuff, hit you with this info before we keep it moving. Odacon's coming up. We are officially 2 weeks away. Count them, 2 weeks away from Odacon 2023. I will be there. I will also be joined by Katie Fox. We will be doing a panel talking about animal arithmetic on Friday at 3:15 p.m. To 4:15 p.m. Should be really, really dope. Get a chance to see some exclusive art. possibly purchase some Animal Arithmetic exclusive merchandise throughout the weekend. Get to hear some of the album. For those of you who still haven't heard the album, I don't know what you're doing. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying, but definitely if you're going to be in the DC area and you're going to be at Otakon, come through, check us out. It's going to be dope. All right. And then next, in August, I'm going to be at Conjutsu. So definitely you got to be there for that. Conjutsu is another convention that is happening in the DMV area. This one will be in Fairfax, Virginia, and it should be really, really dope. It would be great to see y'all there, so come through if you can. All right. So enough of the event stuff. I think I covered all of the event stuff, and it's time to get into this album business. All right. Man, son, where do we start? Like, it's part of me just wants to play the record, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I want to know from y'all, like, how we doing it today? We want to listen to the record as we talk about it, answer some questions, some Q&A. How y'all feeling? Let me know. I've been seeing great feedback and stuff on the record. So clearly y'all have some thoughts and feelings on it. As we speak, people are supporting it. Last I checked, oh, here we go. Hold up. Let's get this up on the screen. That's what we're going to do. Let's take that banner down real quick. All right. Listen, talk, Q&A sounds dope. Sounds like a good time. Let's get into it. Play with commentary says, Tone Deaf says play with commentary. Q&5 says play with commentary. That's what we're going to do. All right, cool. So we're going to get this album queued up. Oh, no. Oh, no. Something's missing. I think. Yeah. Okay. I think we're good. I think I figured it out. Hold up. All right. Hold on one second. Man, yeah, there was a cord that I had plugged in and it is currently not plugged in. So hold up. I think I moved it. I'm gonna grab something. In the meantime, in between time, I'm gonna throw a video up for to kill some time while I get this wire hooked up, and we will come back to that. So y'all hold tight. Quick intermission. All right. Let's throw on an instrumental real quick. So y'all enjoy this instrumental. When I come back, we're going to jump into this live commentary / Q&A as we listen to the new album, Adultish. Check, check. Can y'all hear me now? Check. How's that? Hopefully our sound is back in the building. All right. Peace. So yeah, man. Sorry to keep y'all waiting. So yes, that instrumental you just heard, Nakagayo Kyoto, that's the name of the instrumental. It's produced by me. That video was from a track I did some time ago. Shout out to the really, really dope director who did that as well. I don't have the info in front of me right now, but please look it up. Again, that track is Nakagayo Kyoto. All right. But on that note, yo, it's the kind of guy I am. I'm apologizing even when you can't hear that I'm apologizing. But yeah, man. But thank you. I'm glad you're feeling the track. Shout out to Tone as well, man. He was one of the first people to hear that track. Gave me some tips on how to clean it up some time back. But on that note, it is time. We're going to go ahead and listen to the new album, Adultish. Before we play it, what I'm going to do real quick is put some stuff up on the screen that we can talk about as well. So listen, man. First things first, shout out to Bandcamp, who's been amazingly supportive of this record from the time they first got some previews highlighting the first single, No Per Diem 2.0, featuring Mega Ran. They listed that as new and notable when we first started the campaign for the record, and then recently released this really, really dope review, which is what you see on the screen. That is on the right side of your screen right now. That was featured on Bandcamp Daily. Shout out to them for highlighting the record, brought a lot of additional attention to this album. And currently, I'm sure the numbers are a bit higher now because I've been getting notification for sales and different things because of you. You all are just so dope. But currently, the record is number 23 on all hip hop and rap CDs on Bandcamp. Number 57 for all vinyl. For all vinyl hip hop and rap. For all digital hip hop and rap, it's number 151. And for all hip hop and rap, all formats, is number 162. So, man, that's because of your support. Keep in mind, that doesn't include the early numbers when we were doing pre-orders for it, because the pre-order numbers were extremely high as well. It was charting a bit higher than it currently is, but it's killing right now after the fact. So, yeah, man, it's just dope to see. Word, salute the real hip hop indeed. I appreciate it, man. It's dope to see it win. So before we hit play, let me show you something else real quick, because these came in the mail. They had to redo the covers, but for those who didn't see it yet, this is what the USB cassettes are gonna look like. All right. Now, I know some of you who collect cassettes are seeing these and you're like, oh, those are fire. I can't wait to get it. But this is not actually a cassette. It's a USB drive. Okay. So what's dope about this is you can plug it, play it right in your car or your laptop or your desktop computer. You can literally plug this and play it. It has close to 50 folders in it that you can easily sort through in your car. Or wherever, and literally go through almost my entire catalog, right? So all of my solo records, mixtapes, et cetera, some of the features I've done. There's a folder on here called Stan Loves Japan with all of the different collaborations I've done with Kenichiro Nishihara, Nujabes, Dextream, so many of my brothers overseas. Really, really dope investment. And yes, there are instrumentals on here as well. So almost every instrumental project I've ever produced myself is on here, including the instrumentals to Home Is Where the Art Is as well. I believe some Bob Alloy instrumentals may be on here too. But yeah, man, there's a lot on here. There's nearly 500 songs on this cassette. It currently goes for $75 on whatchamacallit, which isn't bad considering you get nearly 500 songs. It has 8 gigabytes worth of space. So you can load additional stuff on here. It actually has the ebook version of the children's book I wrote as well. as a old poster design we did some time back. So yeah, man. RIP to DJ Dexstream and my brother Nujabes, of course. Yeah, man. Gasp. Word. Yes, thank you for asking. You can grab this on my Bandcamp channel. So those who haven't been to Bandcamp yet, head over there. You can grab what I just showed you and much more. These will begin shipping. The cover art, because they had to redo the cover art for these, because there were covers that were for this. And this is it says the Substantial Discography Adultish edition. But yeah, the cover art for these were shipped because they made an error when they printed it. So it will come with cover art as well. And these will begin shipping, if not next week, the following week. So last week of July at the latest, these will be in the mail. It depends on what you've already ordered with it too. That is insane that you put all that on the USB. Absolutely, man. It's, it's one of those things that I know I have fans out there that they're interested in things like that. That ain't for everybody, but something where you don't necessarily have to worry about a streaming service per se to access all my stuff, or you put on one of my albums and then it starts shuffling other stuff that you might be interested in, instead of you being able to really lock into what I've created, and then there's some platforms where if you're not using the paid version, you can't just listen to my stuff, right? It's going to force you to listen to other things with ads. So this allows you to have complete control over what you want to hear and what you don't want to hear, specifically if you want to hear me. But yeah, man. All right. And it's only $75. To put that in context, to buy my whole discography on Bandcamp is digitally is about $200 with the discount, right? With the discount, it jumps down to just under $200. So to get all of that on a USB, I could easily be selling this for what that's going for. But, this was a creative way to give you something where you can have a keepsake along with the digital. So yeah, man. On that note, let's get into some tunes. I got this record queued up. High five for Jesus. Let the church say amen. Amen. Okay, here we go. Starting with track 1, opening track is called Reed Richards. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You have this song selection. You deal with scientists. Jadakiss is a scientist. Buckshot, they're scientists, man. They're craftsmen. Substantial, they're scientists, man.
Clap for me. Nation, this is fantastic. Can you rap for me? DJ, bring it back for me. Let me touch and get loose for a black on it. Triple R to y'all rap read bitches. Stretch money instead of truth, rhyming business. Enough flow to fill a ravine, you should bring pictures. When the beat got that swing, you gon' need pictures. On the mound, throwing it down, stand delivers. All pro, I ain't a goddamn beginner. Pick Savage show and let a man eat dinner. Too focused on A to see what plan B get us. Now we fade with some gray on the sides. Omni-man stand when that pen and paper can lie. They lied and said you was the truth, but now your status denied. This life forever die, waiting for the pain to subside. Ooh. Classic over trendy, bro, I'm still here. Holla at me in a decade if they still care. When you fall and bounce back, if they still cheer, then you're worthy to wield the mic like it's millionaire. I'm still in here, still prepared to take what I earn. Y'all some Build-A-Bears and built the bear, the weight of the world. I've been the realest here, that's on my soulmate and my girls. Who you feel compared to me really ain't my concern. Is he dope? Ain't a debate, cause most will say he underrated. A couple takes a state that he a great or just the greatest. Some artists focus less on albums, just don't make a playlist. I choose the former, but I hope the latter choose my latest. Clap for me. Nation, Mr. Fantastic, can you rap for me? DJ, bring it back for me. Let me touch and get loose for a black on it. For the poppers, lockers, God bodies, rosters, hip hoppers, now for the imposters. Nah, bro, recognize I spit up when you spot one. Learn from a show stop. Mr. Fantastic, party of four, dope in audio form. What's a god of a goal? Bunch of beasts like Benny on the stage with the boys. You hope to have a good show. Bro, I came to destroy the pit, giving out work like I came to employ. Joyce Fry on the mic when I'm making a point. Sorcerer in the stew when I conjure up joints. Come and fetch this blessing that I came to anoint. For where we rock new balance, but struggle with old vices and high blood pressure be coming with low prices. For the virus, we've been dealing with known crisis. Transform from old dog to old Cyrus. Now we can't blame these joints like arthritis. While God guide us, peacemakers and born fighters. Got homies with more seeds to put fires. Trying to find peace while writing them papyrus. Denied equal rights and living wages. And couldn't see the gods that we are to hitting stages. Best kept secret like Bibles with hitting pages. Best source of raw hip-hop and entertainment. My life's a hip-hop quotable thing, publish yet. Slept on by the masses till I left a few with rubbernecks. Took a swing at rapping, then I sent it to the upper deck. Only other language that I'm fluent in is cut the check. Clap for me, listen, Mr. Fantastic, can you rap for me? DJ, bring it back for me. Let me stretch and get loose, start black on it. For the poppers, lockers, God bodies, rosters, hip-hoppers, not for the imposters, nah, bro. Recognize I spit up when you spot one, learn from a showstopper.
We get into the science of fact. That's the beauty of it. And that the average person doesn't know that, and they get treated like pop music, top 40, shaken to the lights, as I say. I don't think we could be in the same room talking about the same thing.
No.
Okay. Yeah, man. That right there, that was Reed Richards. Yeah, we are listening to the Adultish album right now. That track that you just heard, Reed Richards, produced by me. That's the opening track from the album. Man, thank y'all, man. I appreciate the love. Yeah, so that particular track, on the intro, for those who don't know, on the intro and the outro of that track, that's actually Chuck D. And that clip was taken from, it's wild because it wasn't like I was a guest on the show. He was just talking about, what he listens to and the difference between the type of artist he likes and maybe what folks consume in the mainstream. And to even be mentioned in the same sentence with like folks, legends like Buckshot, and then of course like Jadakiss, you know what I mean, is insane. So when I heard this, I woke up to that news. I woke up and a brother who I bumped into last Friday on my way to New York, this brother named Malcolm, who I know, he basically hit me up on IG and was like, bro, Chuck D just called you a scientist, son. I was like, what does that even mean? And then I listened to the podcast and I was just like, holy, yeah, that's crazy. And so I did a whole reaction video to it. And so when I was thinking about the intro, for those who don't know, I'm in the comics and, I don't read as avidly as as much as I used to, but very much part of my upbringing, right? Like, and still watching every comic book movie that comes out, being as critical, if not more so than the rest of you. And so when I was working on this record, I knew I wanted something upbeat and soulful to be on the joint, something that'd be fun to perform. But at the same time, it's just barred up, like just really just going in, doing the punchlines. The thing I like doing is it's like braggadocious, but it's also like there's always substance there. For those who really, really listen, because I know there's some people who don't really listen to, rappers bragging about being good rappers, but there's a lot of substance to that particular track and stuff. From where we rock New Balance, but struggle with old vices and high blood pressure be coming with low prices. For the virus, we've been dealing with known crisis. Transform from old dog to old Cyrus, right? Like, it's not just bars for the sake of bars. It's also highlighting real challenges and stuff like that, while at the same time talking about what sets me apart from other artists. Initially, fun fact, that record wasn't even supposed to be the intro record. I had a different record in mind to start the album off. But after meeting with my guys, meeting with Tone, meeting with Marvelous Jones, Tone, for those who don't know, Tone that from Q&5 Music mixed and mastered the project, and Marvelous Jones was the photographer who worked on all the different pictures that I've been using this promo. and that I used to build the cover art with the different fabrics and paper that you've seen. And then my man Sherm the Barber, who y'all know from Substantial Sundays and the 3 The Odd Way podcast, who's also a longtime friend of mine since 5th grade, and my barber / stylist. And so, yeah, man, building with them, my man Truth from Godzilla. Just when I let them hear the record, it was actually Shamark's idea to start the album off with Reed Richards. So shout out to him. For those of you who feel like it's the perfect intro, I can't even take credit for that. That's my brother Shamark, Sherm the Barber. So salute to him. You know what I mean? Love that brother. But yeah. Oh man, I appreciate the love, man. Thank you. Shout out to those of you in the chat right now. Kevin Singleton, peace. What's going on? Straight song. I got more work, but man, this album is amazing. Thank you, fam. This is what I want to say before we keep it moving. For any of you who've purchased the album on Bandcamp already, if you've purchased the album on Bandcamp, but you have not written a review yet, please consider writing a review. You might be thinking, Substantial, what the hell are you talking about? Reviews? Yeah, son, you can put a review on Bandcamp. So if you look down under the cover, right, like you can see a couple of reviews. So shout out to Jay Nodick, Malik, and Stephanie Hilliard, who've already written reviews for the record. And you can also select what your favorite song is. So you don't have to do anything but log into your account. You can do this if you have your own Bandcamp page, not as a musician, but as a fan on there. You can go through and write a review right there and select what your favorite track is. And that just helps for other people who are kind of on the fence about like whether to listen to the album or not. That sometimes reading those reviews will sometimes determine if someone hits play. Forget buying it, just hitting play. You know what I mean? So please consider doing that. It takes about 5 minutes. If you go through and look at my catalog of stuff I've bought on Bandcamp, it's something I try to do because I know it helps artists out. But yeah, let's go through some of these comments and get into this next track. Before I forget, would you be doing any UK shows anytime soon? It'll probably be after the new year. We'll see. I'll keep you posted for sure. But definitely, if you don't have notifications turned on here on YouTube, please make sure you do that. For those who don't know, I do these lives almost every week, unless I got like conventions. But usually I'm doing this. I go live every week, giving y'all updates. You can get it directly from me and stay in the loop. Let's see. What I love is how talented yet humble you are. That energy and spirit translates and carries over into your music. It's really refreshing. Thank you so much, man. Means a lot. All right. Substance for sure. Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man. Catching up on these comments before we get in track 2. Cav, we got a link, brother. Don't forget. All right. Legends among legends for real. All right. Let's see. I will do a review for you, sub. Thank you so much. Did I hear my government name? Your whole government. Well, that's what it says. It says Stephanie Hilliard, not Stephanie Gale on your review. So, you know, peace, sis. What's going on? Good to see you up in here. All right, let's keep it moving. We're going to get back to the album. Next track is Crutch. Cool It Now.
Cool it now, so clutch, believe it. Y'all better cool it now. Ralph, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike say cool it now. And sometimes Johnny say cool it now. Focus, so clutch, y'all better cool it now. Shit, y'all better cool it now. Ralph, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike say cool it now. And sometimes Johnny say cool it now.
I don't need anyone's validation. Plain white tee. I don't need any more affirmations. That's right, see. I don't need anyone but myself. I don't need a man. Raise all these kids without any help. I don't need a plan. Why would that matter if God got me? One man army. I never worry. You can't stop me long as I can stand on my own too. I don't need much.
Just
I don't
fix
need
that
love or
compression
friend.
issue.
I don't need trust. Got a team, but I don't need them. They need me. Eating what I kill, so I don't need you to feed me. I don't need a label or a producer. I do it all. Cover art, mix and master. The fuck I'ma do with y'all? I don't need likes, and I don't need to be liked either. Don't need to follow you who died and made you my leader. Don't need to die, and I don't need you minding my health. What I really don't need is to keep lying to myself.
This your theme song. If you don't need a crush for you to lean on, and your team strong enough for you to stand with, they ain't in they feelings when you being candid. One woman and man shit, feel me, still your theme song. If you need a helping hand, though you seem strong, you can keep going, but you need to be still. Strong friends need healing to the be real. You know how that heat feel, pull it down. Shit, I can't live without my supporters. Fan friends, fans at home, and those across borders. Dope boys with hearts of gold that kept me off corners. Need y'all like Jackson, Mississippi, still need clean water. Like getting blessed with crack software you couldn't order long before you could afford it. To people who applauded when I was finding my voice, and the haters chose to ignore it. Need love like ladies love Cool J. Moving forward, I need every one of y'all. I'm lucky some of you check on me like Scantron to stand strong, but like you tested me, especially need my mama to ask her, boy, how you doing? When I feel I'm on the edge and I'm headed toward my ruin, I need one mic like Nas to make magic that's illmatic. I need sunlight to charge up my melanin, black magic. I need my wife to raise up these babies with me, not for me. Need y'all to spread the word, cause too many missing this story, man. Vulnerability ain't a lack of ability. Being honest about what you need is an act of humility. Only clowns ain't feeling me, cause I ain't scared to get help. It face my inner demons because I ain't scared of myself. I'm hard enough to walk in my truth, and I've been the cowards. Tall enough to know why they reaching and dream of power. Smart enough to focus on needs and move what I wanted out. Only thing I don't need is all that bullshit you talking about. This your theme song. If you don't need a crush for you to lean on, and your team strong enough for you to stand with, they ain't in they feelings when you being candid. One woman and man shit, feel me, still your theme song. If you need a helping hand, though you seem strong, you can keep going, but you need to be still. Strong friends need healing to be real. You know how that heat feel. Cool it now. Focus, so clutch, y'all better cool it now. Shit, y'all better cool it now. Ralph, Roddy, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike say cool it now. And sometimes Johnny say cool it now. No crutch needed. Y'all better cool it now. So clutch, believe it. Y'all better cool it now. Ralph, Roddy, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike say cool it now. And sometimes Johnny say cool it now.
Yeah, man. That right there, the track you just heard, once again, that track is Crutch, Cool It Now, featuring Matthew Shell, my brother. Shout out to him. So, yes, great question. Great question for the commentary. So what was that sample? So the sample that you heard is actually an unreleased track from my brother Matthew Shell. Him and I have collaborated a ton of times over the years. Most of you who listen to my stuff, you probably heard Matthew playing guitar on MLK Dream Big 2.0. So all of the Spanish guitar that you heard on that track, that whole Latin flavor that was on that was my homie Matthew Shell playing on it. And so, yeah, he would send me these tracks or whatever that he was working on behind the scenes. Some he'd release, some he wouldn't release. I did a lo-fi like remix of one of his instrumental tracks. He's a multi-instrumentalist, so he sent me something. I put like a little hip-hop spin on it. He released that some time ago, and I featured on a bunch of other stuff that he's done. Anyway, so he sends me this track. I listen to it. I get some ideas. He gives me all the files. I chop it up. And when I sent it back to him, he was like, man, that's different. Like, you know, it didn't sound like other stuff I had done. And I'm a person that, even though people kind of know me for the jazz stuff that the jazz rap / lo-fi stuff that I do, the fact of the matter is I listen to a ton of different stuff. I make a bunch of different stuff. For those of you who are familiar with some of the video game music tracks I've done or features I've done on other people's albums, even some of the stuff you've heard on my albums, it's not all in that vein, right? And so when I was making this, it's just, man, it was real funky and stuff. And I love the guitar, and then try to do something a bit different. The vocal sample chops and all of that stuff. So that track is, again, the reason why it says featuring Matthew Shell, because basically he gave me the foundation that I was able to build off of, you know? So thank you for that question, man. As far as the lyrics and what I was going for, I actually started writing this because before I finished all the production, I had ideas for songs, and And sometimes I just be listening to instrumentals from like some of my friends' releases. So a lot of you know him as Algorithm, but he now goes by Almost. I was listening to one of his instrumental projects, which are all fire. But I was listening to one of the Almost projects, and I heard this really, really dope beat, and some lyrics started coming into me, which was the chorus for this song. And so I wrote those sitting in the car, I think waiting at the doctor's office or whatever. Like my wife had went inside. This is like during like high COVID time. So, if we all didn't need to be in there or couldn't go in there, then I just kind of fell back. So I was just sitting in the car writing, or I dropped my daughter off at school. And before I come in the crib, sometimes I just sit in the car and write. And yeah, man. And so the concept for this song came. And then a couple weeks later, Matt has sent me the sample. I flipped that and flushed out the beat, got it to where I wanted, wrote the hook. Initially, I was talking to Maglo about doing the hook for the song. And that didn't work out. I still want to do something with Maglo because I'm one of this dude's biggest fans, man. Always rooting for him. He's super dope. If you haven't checked out Maglo, you're doing yourself a great disservice. Go check out that brother's music. And so that didn't work out. But I had this really dope idea where making the first verse, it's almost like Devil on Your Shoulder, or like it could be someone else's perspective. But the truth of the matter is, some of the stuff that's said in that verse, some of those things apply to me. Some of those are things that, like, these are thoughts that I have some days. You know what I mean? One man army, I never worry. You can't stop me. Long as I can stand on my own too. I don't need much. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times I kind of get trapped in my own box. You know what I mean? A cage of my own design, and really start to block out the world. And sometimes that's because of whatever chip I have on my shoulder or something that somebody said, and just really feeling like, and then other things that's said in the verse or things that I hear other people say, right? Like, I'm a dude that grew up around a bunch of, single mothers, and raised by single mothers. So like hearing women say things like, I don't need a man, raise all these kids without any help. That's something that I heard a lot growing up. And it's something that I learned over time, that no one does anything on their own or by themselves, right? And a crutch isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if when you have the ability to stand on your own, you don't learn you don't take advantage of opportunities to stand on your own. But there are times where all of us need someone to lean on, or need something to lean on to support us in our times of need. And so I'm grateful that I have a amazing support system around me of artists, friends, family, people who support my music, like you all. You know what I mean? Like, so that's something that I've learned to not fight over time, and realize that that's a blessing. That's love. You know what I mean? I should be embracing that. So the duality of what a crutch can be, and just, but at the same time, realizing that I'm more than capable of standing on my own if I need to, but I'm extremely grateful that I have so much love around me and got people that got my back. So that's what that song deals with. And shout out to New Edition, just because, you know what I'm saying? In this day and age where people reminisce on boys bands, need to put some respect on New Edition's name, because they were the prototype for a lot of what you know is the modern boy band. You know what I mean? Especially what you see in K-pop, what you saw in Backstreet Boys and all of these different folks. They were the prototype. You know what I mean? And then if you want to go further back, of course, the Jackson 5. You know what I mean? But yeah, but that's the foundation of all that. Thank you, man. I'm glad that you're digging the shirt. For those of you who would like a fancy shirt like so, you know what I mean? Shout out to my brother Ryan Espelita, who helped me design the pattern for this shirt, and that's under the lid of this hat right here. Yeah, if you want all of these awesome things, you can grab these either on Bandcamp, or you can grab them on my website, subartmusic.com/store. Or if you go to my solo site, it'll link you to the same store I just shouted out. Link in the description of this video. The hats right now are temporarily sold out, but the new order was just placed for them actually 2 days ago. So they should be back in stock by about a month from now. So don't worry. Once I get confirmation that they are in the mail, and all of that, they'll be available again. So let's get back to this music though, man. Let's see. Crutches are there when you need them for sure. 100%. Yeah, man. Now I'm going to have Cool It Now stuck in my head all day. That's a good problem right there. Let's get into this interlude real quick, and we're going to keep it going with more Adultish.
It's a beautiful thing to be adult-ish. I think being an adult is like very linear. But being adultish means you have all of these things from your past, like you're young, your youthfulness is still there. You're still trying to figure it out. And that is the beautiful dichotomy of like being adultish.
We want to change it. We need it on the double. You know. But Tamara Dobson said progress has to be a slow thing for it to be definite. That's real. So I hit up Tamara Wellens and we decided to take the long route home. Let's go.
We rarely choose a path where success is all but secure. We test the limits daily, ensuring we're built for more. They stepped over my body while washing up on the shore. Ironically, I wasn't self-doubt and seldom endure. I'm no stranger to struggle, I become a connoisseur. No standing for experience, wisdom made in both shores. But I find greatness synonymous with the journey that's arduous. Surviving don't always make. Some would rather get posthumous recognition. Easier to miss than love you, cause love requires commitment. Back when I was a pauper but chose to offer enrichment, I named my nephew Wealth long before we knew what rich meant. Not defined by my pigment, but I'm proud descendant of men and women who know what winning in our country in this skin meant. An independent family man with a penchant for finding love without limits beyond the hate and resentment.
We took the long route home, going for the unknown. Our yellow lights turn green. We hold on to our song. We took the long route home, going for the unknown. Our yellow lights turn green. We hold on to our song.
Yeah. You know the pressure we under is unrelenting, and it seems the distance we travel is never ending. Question our decisions when life is testing our gumption, and learn that goals ain't really last stops, they're more like junctions. Path that lead to businesses, others that lead to babies. Some that lead to a classroom and others that lead to stages. Some that lead you to prison and others to early graves. But if I heaven on earth while searching the path of pain, well son ain't take time to chill. This took time to build, finding each other's easy. The hard parts to find the will to keep the ship afloat. Where others give up hope, winning each other's sail over anchor when we need it most. So before the curtain call or the counter gavel, I answer when my purpose call. We got ground to travel. Look how no matter when the tank's full as your heart is. Seen the world where home is still where my heart and the art is.
We took the long route home, going for the unknown. Our yellow lights turn green. We hold on to our song. We took the long route home, going for the unknown. Our yellow lights turn green. We hold on to our song. We took the long route home, going for the unknown. Our yellow lights turn green. We hold on to our song. We took the long route home, going for the unknown. Our yellow lights turn green. We hold on to our song.
The long route, went all out. Went all out. The long route, went all out. Went all out. The long route, went all out. Went all out. The long route, went all out. The long route, went all out.
Man. Yeah. Man. So yeah, the long route. That track, again, all of the tracks on the album produced by me. That song in particular, the sample that you're hearing, first shout out to Tamara Wellens. Also shout out to my brother DJ Hive. Yeah, man, they both are amazing individuals. Tamara Wellens gave me, I was able to like work with her to clear the sample for that particular song, which is a song by her called You Are, right? Definitely look that song up. It starts off as a ballad, like a beautiful ballad, and then goes into like this soulful house joint. And so if you're a fan of stuff that has very much like a Jill Scott type of vibe, but just on the more on the house end, you'll love that song. It's really, really dope. I loved that song the moment I heard it. And then one day I was working on the album and that song happened to play as I was in the car later that same day while working on the album. And I heard that chorus because I was thinking about a track after Nipsey passed, because there's lines in songs where I talk about like, marathon versus the sprint in terms of, achieving our goals or, achieving longevity in this industry. And so I knew I wanted to do a song that really talked about that, because that's very much been my journey, right? Like, there's a lot of opportunities. Y'all have no idea how many opportunities I've had to just get the bag real quick or go sign with different companies. Y'all have no idea. And I don't mean as of late. I'm talking about early in my career, like up to now. Like these type of opportunities come up more frequently, probably way more than y'all would ever realize. And so when you're a person that passes up on a lot of that stuff, there's a part of you that realizes that, yeah, this is gonna take a lot longer than maybe I initially anticipated, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather have my integrity, right, and be able to live with myself and stuff, and live with the decisions I've made in terms of like the career I've built. And so, yeah, man. But shout out to everybody involved. Shout out to Jonathan Smalls on bass. He played bass on 3 of the tracks on this album and 4 of the tracks on Animal Arithmetic, which I produced top to bottom as well. But yeah, let's go through these comments real quick. Progress has to be a slow thing for it to be definite. Yeah, man, that quote right there from Tamara Dobson, who just happened to have the same first name as Tamara Wellens, was crazy. I was watching this documentary about Black filmmakers, and she was talking about the film industry and the progress that Blacks had made, and was talking about Blaxploitation flicks and other things that had happened in the industry. And that's when she dropped that quote. And I was like, man, that quote is hard as oh my God, that quote is hard. And that's something that a lot of times we don't think about either, right? Like, because we want change to be quick. We want it to happen right away a lot of times. And a lot of times it's this crazy struggle for us, largely because that's the way it has to be sometimes for it to be definite. Because there's certain people that, while this is happening, there are people who are actively fighting against those changes happening. And then there are other people who are kind of watching on the sidelines, and they're trying to understand what they're seeing happening, because they know that things got to be different, but they're not fully on board with the changes that are coming. And so they're just there's some who just like playing the background and don't want to be involved. And there are others that are just trying to be thorough and trying to understand it. So a lot of times for something to be definite, for it to stay, for it to be lasting, it takes a bit of time. You feel me? So anyway, I appreciate you appreciating that line. Thank you. This cuts were done by my brother DJ Hive. Yep. All right. Let's see. Don't play that while driving home at night. All right. Let's see. Was out for 10-minute quick run to the store. Didn't get home for an hour. Wow. I guess you liked it. All right. Big respect on that. It's not easy to say no to the bag, bruh. You have, man. I'm sure all of us have experienced this, so I'm not gonna say you have no idea. But yeah, when somebody offering you several $1,000s to do something that virtually is not gonna cost you anything but time, right? And you don't have all the time in the world, but you technically have enough time to do that thing. But you also know that there are clear things that you're seeing that there are red flags that are letting you know that they don't necessarily respect you, in a way that that you're comfortable with. And so, like a lot of times people will kind of put that aside and just take the money. And a lot of times I'm recognizing that, man, we teach people how to treat us. So if I accept this, it says a lot about my character and how they can do business with me and how they can treat me going forward. You know what I mean? And so, that's tough sometimes. I've had that experience as an artist. Integrity is key in my opinion, 100%. You, peace. Thanks for joining us. All right, let's get back to these tunes. This next track is called Your Man Though. Your Man Though. Yeah, this originally was supposed to be track 1 for the album. Here we go.
Best kept secret, but the final. Trying to save a little green like Mando. Many come and go, but your man though. Know my worth, that's why I'm substantial. This is the way you make a banger and you make a difference. This is the way you shut your hater and you make them listen. This is the way you pay it forward, then you pay with interest. Trying to learn you young and pay attention. Now I fell more times than most have tried. Trace up a winner. Since rockin' temper taper's been trying to taper my temper. A cooler head that's prevailing, but always ready to cook them. From Maryland where I'm hailing, but I made my name in Brooklyn. A galaxy far away from splash parties and cabarets. The home team colors are mustard and Cabernet. Tagging up in alleyways, unsure if we'll graduate. Memories feel like an infinite loop. A Saturday cartoons and comfort theater seemingly unrelated till you realize some of the shit we've been kicking is animated for your edutainment. Only get better and I'ma claim it. Reigning underground champ that never had an arraignment. Wayman. Black of all trades, Renaissance stand, modern day Harlem Renaissance man. Him and his fam, some grown-ups that got more growing to do. 1, 2, 1, 2. Living a life I worked toward, but never thought it carry through. So what do you do when some of your dream come true? When people look up to you, they see that you grew. Shit that was hard to see, clearly within your view. Walking your truth, time to go with you. Nobody harder than you when I walk in the booth. I do what I do. Rhymes just flow from out of the blue and turning the green. You know what I mean? Since a teen, been living my dream. Had to recharge when I'm back on the scene. I'm working harder than a machine. All a part of my daily routine. All or nothing, no in between. Kinda extreme for you, but me being great, kinda my thing. Walking the path we paved because our ancestors left the light on. Wrote our stories on stars when they couldn't find shit to write on. Krylon over Orion, been chosen to get our shine on. To the mic on, watch me grip it with the strength of a python. I'm on my hero journey. I swear it's the stuff of legend that made men in the gods. And my birthday was on the 7th of January, which make me a go. It must be destined. Been giving them what they needed, and they ain't even requested. I must be the best kept secret, but the final. Trying to save a little green like Mando. Many come and go, but stand though. Know my worth, that's why I'm substantial. This is the way you make a banger and you make a difference. This is the way you shut your hater and you make them listen. This is the way you pay it forward, then you pay with interest. Trying to learn you young and pay attention. Listen.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Your man, though, when I die, bring me back as Stan's voice. Man, I love you, Tone, man. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. Love the Mando line and the hook on this. Thank you. The funny thing about this song, right? I came up with the chorus for this joint. I had a meeting with Sound of the City. Shout out to Precious Joubert, who y'all have heard on a lot of my tracks. We were recording with the band. We were shooting a video for that track at their studio that they run in PG. And man, they were playing a beat, and I just started freestyling, right? Like while they were doing the beat. And that's when I came up with that Mando line. I was like, something, though, trying to save a little green like Mando. And I, like with the tone and all of that, and it almost felt like a little reggae vibe too. And that was just me messing around with the band one day. And but when I said that Mando line, it got a big response out of the folks there. And I was like, man, give me a second. Went typed the joint up. And then I just called it Mando, right? But like before it was Your Mando, I just put Mando, like Mandalorian. And then I developed it a bit further after I got the beat. And so that beat was crazy. Like I had the foundation for this beat maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I want to say like the foundation for this beat was laid maybe pre-pandemic, because that's when I first started working on Adultish. This was back when the album was still going to be Adulting, right? And then while like during the pandemic and stuff, when I had a bit more time, about a year ago, I started messing with the beat. I went through a bunch of old beats that I started but hadn't finished, which isn't a lot. Like, because a lot of joints, I'm a person that likes to get a really, really solid foundation or get close to what the beat is going to feel like overall before I move to another beat. Where I know a lot of people are perfectly good with just kind of having quick sketches and then coming back, but like I like to kind of really see it through as much as possible, flesh it out as much as possible. And so yeah, man, I just started messing around with it. And when I got the mix of the drums where I really, really loved them, and I found this that piano, that little lullaby piano sample, I was like, oh my God, I had no bass line yet. And I didn't have the other elements, but I love how it felt. Because one of the things, man, like with the lo-fi stuff, right? And I know this is the lane I get put in a lot of time. But we were talking about this on the listening party on Bandcamp last night. That, man, like a lot of the drums, one, you got a lot of people who like flipping samples without drums, and just going over that, and that's fine. That ain't necessarily. I don't love a lot of that stuff. Some of the stuff is really, really cool. And I recognize it gives people a lot of room to breathe and quote unquote get their lyrics out, and that's cool. But then you got the other songs that where they got drums, with them drums, oh my God, the drums are soft as baby shit. And it's just like, fam. And I ain't saying hip hop always got to be a certain way. I'm not one of those dudes, not an old guy yelling from the mountaintop like, damn you kids. Nah, son. It's just I like my shit a certain way. And so when I heard it, like that sample very much feel like a lot of the lo-fi stuff we hear. But them drums, them shit's knock B. Like, and they don't just knock on computer speakers or in your headphones, like in the whip. Oh my God. There's a little thing when I talk amongst my peers, anything that I make, I'm always checking for whip appeal. You know, I know how people consume their music, and a lot of people are kind of sitting in the crib, either playing it from their phone or whatever little Bluetooth speaker, or maybe their computer speakers. And then you got some people who got full on systems and all of that. But let's be real, depending on where you live, most people aren't playing this stuff at loud volumes. When I get in the car, fam, and ain't nobody there with me, I'm playing my shit at ignorant volumes, right? You know what I'm saying? And might be playing something sometimes that other people don't want to hear, but I don't care, because a lot of times I do so much driving. This is what keeps me alert. So, yeah, man, when I was making that beat, I wanted to still, even though it was chill, I just wanted that joint to feel like, oh my God. And Tone killed it with the mix, you know? So shout out to him. But anyway, yeah, man, just some insight on what was going on with that particular track. Let's go to these comments. Word, the Mando line goes hard. Thank you. Pre-pandemic, the lore of the whole project has been deep. Thank you, fam. It's so cold. Oh, God, yelling from the hills. There you go. Yeah. I still hear them kicks in my sleep. I preach to them. Yeah, man. I'm sorry, Tone. Yo, shout out to Tone, man. Again, yo, Tone was sacrificing his health on this one. You know what I mean? I told him I want to use him for mixing more of my stuff, but you know, I also don't want Tone to actually be deaf. You know what I'm saying? So we'll figure something out. My whip, my jams. Yeah, man. But yeah, man, the joint just gotta have that whip appeal. You know what I'm saying? That baby face, that whip appeal, you know? Same way when driving solo. Yeah, man. Peace. What's going on, Mr. Shed? My brother Chris. What's going on? Good to see you up in here. He's a blue schooler, man. Been rolling with the Q&5 family for a long time, man. Good to see you up in here, brother. All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's get back into these tunes. We got more album to listen to. Next up is an interlude with my brother Javier Starks. All right, the One Will Wing.
As a collective, as a society, we are learning, and people are more knowledgeable about the raw, honest fact that adults are just grown kids who weren't taught how to be adults. We are learning that, hey, my mom was figuring it out. When we were younger, we were assuming that they're supposed to know. So I think that with that knowledge and how the world may be viewing it, it's like a collection of bullet points. Seen this, think about this, consider this. That's one half of it. And then the other half that I get from working with kids is like part of being an adult is growing into that space where it's like part of my French. I don't give a what someone else thinks. This is what I'm feeling at the moment. This is you being true to yourself and being able to do it.
Beard God status. Shout out to all my bearded brethren. From that young stubble to that strong black on black. And that wisdom and experience that you get with that.
Living legend ain't gotta die. Breaking flexing ain't gotta die. Truth is free, I ain't gotta lie. Come get this wisdom, I gotta lie. Salt and pepper, old boy, you season. Fresh for nothing, don't need a reason. She seasoned too, my old babe. Cool and sweet, she's sorbet. Always, all day. Been in good hands all state. Should've been new to forte. Old boy can't come to play games with it. From the era they used to slap plagiarists. Too great to hate, too authentic to fake. Trailblazing, made my own lane with it. This seafood sub, the most dangerous. Y'all seafood subs with a drinking chip. I'm a full-course meal stamp for golden seals with no total ordeal. I make bank with it, come bang with it. Y'all show y'all ass, but ain't second shit. I'm way different. Got room to grow, I'm still learning. Y'all cash is ass, I'm still earning. It's all love and I'm serving. 2 decades of drive without swerving. Enjoy your moment. I'm built to last, my folks is spoken. Old man Logan, self-deroning. No master except the ones I'm owning. Grown man flowing, let me learn ya. Focus, you too concerned with the... Look at all that wisdom. Look at all that wisdom. Look at all that wisdom. Oh, you like God, come get something. Look at all that wisdom. Yeah. Look at all that wisdom. Look at all that wisdom. Oh, you like God. No fear, did it my way. Flip my bed like pie may. Went from no one over my name to sold out shows in Taipei. From up and coming to classic status. 8 precise with this apparatus. Stay ready, game steady, you talk and practice. Carry that weight like Spike and Atlas. Came up with assassins on mics. Heft off the vice, I black out the night. Let me better take notes, forever get better from dope. Y'all do the most, while I get paid in my sleep. Ironically, I'm still woke, whoa. I learned from young and the old, oh. A master of matching the flows, yeah. Building these bridges while sharing my vision. If you wasn't hit, now you know, bro. Bet all the fiction, I handle my business. Your man's only mission is growth. Look at all that wisdom. Look at all that wisdom.
Yeah. Man, oh man. Yeah, so that was Salt and Pepper Bid, or Salt and Pepper, featuring Black Root and Marcus D, mixed by my brother Tone. Tone Def mixed that joint. Yeah, I remember when I first sent him the rough draft of that joint and how excited he was. And it really got me thinking about, like, man, it'd be dope if he was the brother that mixed the entire project, you know. And I'm so glad that he did, because I feel like it just added so much more. There's a whole lot of little things and layers and textures that he added to tracks that I produced on the record. Additional synth on some tracks, and you know, like just adding like variations of the bass lines and different things. Yeah, man, and just, you know, panning other sounds, and yeah, he just killed it, man. Again, shout out to my brother Tone. Clap it up for Tone for doing an excellent job mixing and mastering the record. Call my Salt and Pepper wisdom. Yes, sir. That's right. You don't even know. That song helped me feel positive about growing older. Man, bro, thank you for sharing that with me, because that was the goal. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's like, man, I feel you 100%. I feel you 100%. I sometimes, you know, it can be, yeah, it's sometimes difficult to feel good about it. You know what I mean? You know, there's a lot of things you can't do anymore, right? Or maybe can't do the way you used to be able to do. And then there's other things that, like, yo, I'm far better at now than I once was. You know what I mean? I mean, hell, rapping for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know a lot of people like a lot of my older stuff because of the memories they have attached to that, and the introduction to me came by way of these songs and stuff. But I think it's safe to say that most people who actively listen to what I do would agree that what I'm capable of doing now is like I've advanced, right? And so there are certain aspects of it and of individuals' lives where, as you grow older, there are certain things you get better at. And so I'm grateful that mine just so happens to be the art that I enjoy creating, right? Like, I feel like I've grown in that. And then just the amount of wisdom I have in terms of how I interact with folks, and how it's helped me to navigate the world, navigate certain opportunities, and become a better teacher over the years as well. Yeah, man, it's just a lot that I'm grateful that I lived long enough to be able to experience certain things and to be wiser. But yeah, not like your old stuff is bad, but I went back and listened to Sacrifice, and then Past is Always Present in the Future, and Adultish. Word. And I feel the same way. Like, I don't listen to that stuff and be like, oh my God, I was trash. You know what I mean? Or this was trash. It's just more, and I think a lot of times people feel like that. It's just that I think this is the same thing. For the way to look at it is, let's say there's a craft or something that you do. The moment you finish it and then you finally put it out there and share it with other folks, that critical side of you, every time you experience it or see it, or someone talks about it, or it plays back or whatever, or you're constantly, as you've had new experiences and as you've figured out how to maneuver and how to do certain things differently, you hear those things and you're like, damn, if I could have that back, I would have did this, or I would have did that, or I would have changed this mix a little bit, or you know what I mean, maybe put this drum there, blah, blah, blah. Like, as you gain more experience, as you get more wisdom, right? You hear older stuff, and it's tougher for you to just kind of enjoy it, and without like that critical side of you. I'm not losing sleep over it per se, but there's a reason why I can't listen to it and hear it the same way other people do. A lot of times I appreciate it for what it is 100%. There's very few of my old projects. I mean, even something like The Past is Always Present in the Future, which is a lot more recent. There's moments that when I hear it back, there's certain things, you know what I mean? I still feel like it's a more accurate depiction of where I am now as an artist than maybe some of the older stuff. But I understand that doesn't mean that I think those older things are bad per se. It's just, these were steps in order for me to get where we are right now. You feel me? And so I'm grateful for that. But yeah, man, thank you, Mike. You refined your craft, my guy. Indeed. Revival of the House Party. You mean Resurrection of the House Party can't be replayed though. Gets any cookout or barbecue jumping. Word. Can't be replaced. Oh man, I appreciate that. Thank you, fam. All right. On that note, let's get into the rest of. We at the midway point of the album. Let's get into this next joint. 23 years ago, I hopped on a plane to Tokyo with $33.22 in my pocket to record my first album with Nujabes. A lot happened before that, and even more since then. But if I wasn't crazy enough to take a trip around the world to work with a guy I didn't know, or crazy enough to bet on myself with that play money I showed up with, we wouldn't be here right now. With some of our choices, you know? Adultish. Let me pause it real quick. So that interlude, the play money interlude is what I call it. So with the variant version of the artwork that y'all are seeing on the screen, shout out to my brother Naturel who designed that. I'm gonna give y'all some insight to that, right? Like he basically got the concept to do that because that story that y'all just heard, that's something I told him. And prior to telling him, like, I didn't realize that it wasn't out there in the world like that I hadn't really shared that with a bunch of people. But when I showed up to Japan for the first time to work with Nujabes, I had like next to no money in my pocket. I had $33.22 in my pocket. And I was about to be in Japan for a month. And literally, even for me to call someone back then, I needed to go to the store and purchase a phone card for a certain amount of money to call folks and be like, hey, I'm broke. I need help. You know what I'm saying? So I had no idea fully what I was walking into. Nujabes had a picture of me. He finally sent me a picture of him, but I didn't get it until I got to Japan and finally had time to go to his computer because I think he sent it after I had already left the crib. And back then smartphones weren't a thing, so I wasn't able to easily access certain joints. So I didn't know who I was looking for. I just knew his name. And even then I just knew his I knew his real name by then, and this is like 2099 at first in 2000 when I flew out there. So it was a big risk. And so I called it play money, partly because like that wasn't real money. That wasn't a substantial amount of money to work with and do anything with, and sure as hell not survive in Tokyo for a day, let alone a month. You know what I mean? It was pretty scary, but it worked out. I got there, and because of the agreement I signed, they had an envelope for me and the keys to like a studio apartment and stuff for me to live in while I work for the next month on this record, on my debut record with him. And so, it's the epitome of betting on yourself and knowing that because of your skill, because of your work ethic, where you've gotten yourself to this point and the people you've chosen, you chose to work with, that you're going to be all right, and it takes a lot to do that. It takes a lot to do that for yourself. It takes a lot to convince other people to have faith in you in those moments too. Because a lot of times it's not that they don't have faith in you. They don't know these other folks. But so the look that you see on the cover, that like it feels like Monopoly money or play money, so to speak. But then that's the actual amount of money that I had in my wallet when you add it all up. Then I didn't say this yesterday at the listening joint on Bandcamp, but I'll share it with y'all. The other thing about it, if you look at how the change is placed, and the shape of how the change is placed on the cover is actually supposed to be like the Capricorn joint. Like I was talking to Naturel about it, because after hearing the record and he heard me mention different things about when I was born and my age, the year I was born, what my sign is, all of these different things and stuff that are kind of throughout my music. And so he thought it was interesting to just kind of lay the change in the shape of that constellation and stuff, and just tie it in with other things that make me. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. Shout out to him. Definitely. Peace. What's going on? Shout out to what's going on, Sarah. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me on Twitch. That's inspiring for real. Thank you, Blossom. Means a lot. All right, Quintus. Shout out to the legendary Jen. Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, Nujabes. I shared that story with my wife, and she was floored on that leap of faith. Yeah, bro, because, it's not like I had to drive down the street. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a 14-hour flight, fam. There's no turning back. The wild part, too, I don't even think I had, because I had never traveled that far, and so I didn't know what the process was deboarding the plane. And so when I had to fill out that paperwork, for customs and all of that, about where I was staying and all of that, a lot of that information was in my email, and I hadn't printed. Keep in mind, no smartphones at the time, so I would have had to print it out. So I didn't have a printout of it. So I'm just like, plugging in certain info that I had and trying to go from memory. And I was just like, man, please don't verify this shit before I leave, because if you do, you're going to be disappointed, and my ass is going to be locked up or stuck at the airport. So yeah, it worked out though. You know what I mean? Thank the heavens, thank the, you know what I mean? Thank the universe, thank, what's the Will Ferrell joint? He's like, thank you. He's like, help me, Allah, help me, God, help me, sweet baby Jesus, help me, Tom Cruise, in your witchcraft. Like, hey, fam, this is sending prayers out to everybody. So on that note, let's keep it going. I'm gonna let 2 joints play back to back so we can get through the rest of the record. And what I'll do now is just kind of keep it focused on questions. So if y'all got questions, ask those. Otherwise, I'm gonna just let it play.
Lost touch when we locked down. Thankful that I got up after the knockdown. Lost touch with some old friends. Trying to enjoy the ride until the road ends. Lost sight of the mission. Treating your community like competition. What was once lost can't be found. Chin high, 10 toes down, let's go now. Past 50, I'm doing my best to double that. Lost legends, they say the culture is where the trouble's at. Lost our way and it might be too late to double back. Chopped it up, but I'm more John Henry than lumberjack. Late tracks till I die, fighting the machine off. Trying to catch an angel that's about to burn their wings off. Edited the bucket list of things you can leave off. Tiptoeing on the edge of faith, about to leap off. We hard, but the darkest visions is if our visions of the tallest. He saw and the ceilings are falling, Lord the strongest. Despite all of the odds, yes, got me ready to go all in, but why am I stalling? I know loud haters in the crowd be the Nazis. The stronger claiming they building like rowdy Itachi. So proudly you watch me in the studio cooking the miracles like a young black Hal Miyazaki.
How can I lose touch if I had it in a firm grip of my hand like a handle of a bike? When I was a little tight, palm dirty, held tight, then eventually it transformed to the old mic. Crown rusty from the spit, signal only from the right. But the first time I heard my own voice in the monitors, I had a mind simulation watching me body the beat, my alias, the birth of a moniker.
Lost touch when we locked down. Thankful that I got up after the knockdown. Lost touch with some old friends. Try to enjoy the ride until the road ends. Lost sight of the mission. Treating your community like competition. What was once lost can't be found. Chin high, 10 toes down, let's go now.
I never thought friends in the past would leave or pass. R.I.P. some flee after massive schemes. Ghosted, the heartbreak is ferocious. Ain't no doctor in the cast for these masses. Looking down at their phone or their tablet as time flies by at even faster speeds. With functionality and community clashes, since we lost touch like we cracked the screen.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious to us haven't been in the scene, feeling old like a vet, but curious like a teen. Had poets gunned down, prophets sold out, rebel silence, the school's no alliance. Venue shut down, stations paid off, high hopes for the internet, it's intent malice. I see the talent in the stalls, but the mind's so numb. Does it sell cause it's dumb, and we talk with a thumb.
Made to be greater, lost touch with the creator. The alpha and omega, mistaken to be the beta. Artist over artisan, creator or curator. Collapsing under baggage that can fit inside the freighter. The body is a temple and the mind is a fortress. Since health is wealth, not mind if I lost it. Trying to make a living, hope they dying and support it. If we dying in the streets, it's me rhyming, it's important. Guess we lost touch where we locked down. Thankful that I got up after the knockdown. Lost touch with some old friends. Trying to enjoy the ride until the road ends. Lost sight of the mission. Treating your community like competition. What was once lost can't be found. Chin high, 10 toes down, let's go now. Lost touch when we locked down. Thankful that I got up after the knockdown. Lost touch with some old friends. Trying to enjoy the ride until the road ends. Lost sight of the mission. Treating your community like competition. What was once lost can't be found. Chin high, 10 toes down, let's go now. Chin high, 10 toes down, let's go now.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for all the love. We're going to keep it going into the next joint. And that was history right there. First time me and Shingo ever did a track together.
I remember doing shows with no per diem. Shit on by promoters, but the fans hope to see.
Shout out to Uyama on that last one and my brother Javier Starks.
Shows in museums, no cap, no DMs, but The message is direct. Everything you put in ain't exactly what you get. One more thing, don't forget. A check never outweighs integrity or respect. Told me everything that I couldn't do. Told me everything that I should have done. Showed me everything that I shouldn't choose. They showed me everything that I could have won. Told me everything that I should be. And it's everything that they ain't. On God, from what I can see, they ain't qualified to tell me what I can and can't do. If you never tried, never failed, can you truly recognize if I ever will? Fall, then rise, tell them better still. Get by till we make on paper, then hammer mill. Turn a skeptic to a zealot, cause I've died working toward it before I live to regret it. Whether lost in the force, off course, in the desert, I'ma forge what we got into a little slice of heaven. I remember doing shows with no per diem. Shit on my promoters, but the fans hope to see them. Some hope to be them. Went from dive bars and clubs to shows in museums. No cap, no DMs, but the message is direct. Everything you put in ain't exactly what you get. One more thing, don't forget. A check never outweighs integrity or respect.
It's always been clear who I've been rocking for. Doing what's right ain't what's easy or popular. Ice cold, you might need to rock it first. It's my first concert, and the nosebleeds with binoculars. I think it was Sesame Street Live, wrote a paper about it. Everything expertly describes since the day I first switched gears and hit the go. Probably doing it wrong 15 years in a row still. Never straying from the path. Knew if I could make them cry, then I could make them laugh. I was doing the knowledge and they was doing the math. It was long overdue, like a random stand collab. Tax man saying I ain't gonna see returns. That ain't nothing new. I just need to keep what I earned. Looking back with no regrets about anything that we did. Make a living with creations, make life for what we get.
I remember doing shows with no per diem. Shit on my promoters, but the fans hope to see them. Some hope to be them. Went from dive bars and clubs to shows in museums. No cap, no DMs, but the message is direct. Everything you put in ain't exactly what you get. One more thing, don't forget. A check never outweighs integrity or respect. I'ma put more where it really counts, and never sell my soul for any amount. Never stress what people consider less. Got everything I need, is what it means to be blessed. I was undervalued by the overrated. Gave me long directions, now they all surprised I made it. Created my own lane and found the strength to pave it. And where I'm supposed to be is now where I'm situated. They told me everything that I couldn't do. Told me everything that I should have done. Showed me everything that I shouldn't choose. They showed me everything that I could have won. Told me everything that I should be. And it's everything that they ain't. On God, from what I can't see, you ain't qualified to tell me what I can or can't do. You ain't qualified to tell me what I can or can't do.
Who? You?
You ain't qualified to tell me what I can or can't do.
Never that. Mega rare, substantial.
You ain't qualified to tell me what I can or can't.
We continue to break barriers, tear down expectations. Let's go.
Come on. Yeah, man, we're gonna keep it pushing.
All we want as hip hop fans, as music fans, as art fans, is an acknowledgement of our experience.
Shout out to my brother Toned Up.
And it's like, if no one else is talking about this, here is this record where we're getting acknowledged for these experiences of being at this stage in your life, in this culture that no one else is talking about. And so just having an acknowledgement of your experience at this stage of life where you weren't even supposed to be alive, I think is beautiful.
How much you've grown, how much you've grown.
So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep going. time slipping through our hands like an hourglass as it trickles sand. Struggling to meet all of like the man's. Ain't no guarantee, still make time to plan. Remember, I would dream you worth a little stand. Better yet, God gave me 3 of you. Travel with beyond where it all began. Never let the distance get between us two. Grew from a black sheep to a black queen. Black excellence looking good on you. From black dress to direct thing. Doing things you were scared you never do. Relate a message like a track team. You reflect who you're attracting. Watch you rise up like Maxine. Stranger things I struggle make a better you. I salute you. You put in work and never put your worth in how another person views you. You put your heart in every work of art and keep your family part of what you do. A queen born in Queens like a king's, but in real life, y'all who knew? Glad I shot my shot like doo. Now we paired up like Bluetooth.
I'm so amazed at who you are.
Shout out to Millen in a Day out right now.
You really made this life your own. How much you've grown. How much you've grown.
Peace to Ministry of Hip Hop. Romania in the building.
Look how much you have grown. So proud. Look how much you have grown. So proud. Keep going. So proud. Keep growing. Hey Lee, wish I had a time machine to show you younger you what you're accomplishing daily. In spite of what the cost is, all you lost a second grandchild, second baby. You grew to be the queen of second chances and advancing no matter what they see. No buts or no ifs as it may be. Surviving from things that will break me. Went from GED to burning through your 3rd degree. A lot of what I mastered in my own relationship I learned from watching you and D. Went from drop out to a drop top. At the drop thought tomfoolery. Went from no lights that lighten up a path for you and yours quite beautifully. This from you, from me. Some words of affirmation from your baby brother. Thanks for all the inspiration and support when I was fronted on by many others. Many of us don't make it as far as we have, and I cherish the joy that's among us. Every blessing you're getting is well earned. Take a look at that fall that you brought us. You know I love you.
I'm so amazed at who you are. Who would have seen us come this far? You really made this life your own. How much you've grown. How much you've grown. How much you've grown. How much you've grown.
So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep growing.
We're going to keep it going. Thanks, Joshua.
My gallery gets haunted by these ghosts in my cell. They live on in my memories, but it's no citadel. I'm scared to disappear every time my screen blackens. I hope they're in the cloud and they repented for their actions. But I know you still here, I feel you with me. My cup running over with spirits until it's empty. The body is a host and the host is a shell. But now you're suited for glory, adios and farewell. Wish you were here to hear what I'm writing now. Last time, it was your brother that I was writing about. You was in the stew with me, sat in the chair, I'm sitting there, leaning toward the monitor, eyes closed while you listened in to how I missed your brother, my father, your eyes were glistening. Never seen either one of you cry, now I was witnessing glitches in the matrix breaking through your conditioning. Thick and skin from life on these streets and years of imprisonment. Isn't it crazy how once you come home, you're never fully present? It's like a part of you trapped in that cell and never left it. Upon your exit, got locked in another cell, it seems. Eternal life in these photos that's on my celly screen. You might have escaped the pain in your worldly limits, but it's ironic we use a cell to capture an image, so we last to our village. Every phone out we get village with tangible memories we can circle back and revisit. My gallery is haunted by these ghosts in my cell. They live on in my memories, but it's no citadel. I'm scared to disappear every time I scream screen blackens. I hope they're in the cloud and they repenting for their actions. But I know you're still here. I feel you with me. My cup running over with spirits until it's empty. The body is a host and the host is a shell. And now you're suited for glory. Adios and farewell. To my Uncle Joe. We wish you were here. I see. We wish you were here. True boy, need your best, Jay Dilla. We wish you were here. To my father, I wish you were here. PH, Dex, Dream, vice versa. Wish you were here. Young Gabriel, wish you were here. Lyman, Frankie, my brother Junior. Wish you were here. Too many names, but I wish you were here. Can't let you go if I wanted to. I refuse to release you. Can't text or call if I need you, but at least I can still see you. So many numbers and faces, can't bring myself to erase them. Voice that can't be filled with no perfect fit to replace them. Time has turned your iPhone to a mobile mausoleum or an Android filled with memories of human beings like Motoko Kusanagi. Show is over and I'm sorry. Life was the main event. Hope we link at the after party. Scroll through pics and video with fam and friends I'll never see again. Music I've been consuming from legends since the age of 10. Songs I did with the homies that's difficult to play again. All of them at their peak before they help me get wavering. Why does the cage bird sing? So we remember them. Scared to death to free them, cause how else will we revisit them? Loads of content about you, still hard to be content. Wish you were physically here, so this is my lament. My gallery is haunted by these ghosts in my cell. They live on in my memories, but it's no citadel. I'm scared to disappear every time my screen blackens. I hope they're in the cloud and they repenting for their actions. But I know you're still here, I feel you with me. My cup running over with spirits until it's empty. The body is a host and the host is a shell. And now you're suited for glory, adios and farewell. My gallery is haunted by these ghosts in my cell. They live on in my memories, but it's no citadel. I'm scared to disappear every time my screen blackens. I hope they're in the cloud and they repenting for their actions. But I know you're still here, I feel you with me. The body is a host and the host is a shell. But now you're suited for glory, adios and farewell.
Yo, shout out to Steph. Shout out to my brother Malcolm Jackson on that joint right there. Yeah, man, it's a tough joint to listen to without getting a little emotional. Yeah, man. Answer these questions real quick, and I'm gonna play these last the interlude in the last joint because I actually gotta get ready to dip because we've been at it a while today. But I gotta dip pick up my youngest daughter soon. So real quick, to answer these questions, what producers influenced me while working on this joint? Of course, I constantly think about, Dilla's one of my favorite producers. Quiet as Kept, Timbaland is another producer who I love a lot as well. That I think a lot of underground artists don't always talk about, but I like him because he experiments and there's things that he'll throw in there. So like when you hear a track like Salt and Pepper, which isn't necessarily influenced by Timbaland specifically sonically, that's more influenced by like Baltimore club music and folks like DJ Boo Man from out of Baltimore and so many others. But it's more so in how he's not scared to kind of do different things on the same album per se. There'll be something that'll feel like a slow jam, and then there'll be something that'll feel like a straight up hip hop joint, and then he can do the R&B joint, blah blah blah. So I love how he's just not this one thing. Same thing with Dilla, but Dilla has a very specific sound depending on what era of Dilla you listen to, right? So folks like that, and then people who I know personally, right? Like obviously, some of the things that you hear sometimes that sound like some of the hip hop out of Japan obviously come from my working directly with Nujabes and DJ Dexstream, my brother Mona Risic. So some of that influence as well. People like Tone Deaf. Tone has constantly like pushed me to be better. You know what I mean? He's not an easy person to impress because he's so impressive himself. So people like him, people like Kokai as well, who just like his fearlessness to do like a lot of different things and maybe kind of go in a different direction, which may not be what people expect from him sometimes. So folks like that, my brother Joe D, who's a dude who produces all of his stuff himself and also produces the Godzilla records. Marcus D as well, who I literally use. I used one of his sample packets on You've Grown. Which, to answer that other question, yes, my sister still listens to the song. She's probably played the song hundreds of times. People show up at her house, it's an excuse for her to play the song. And that warms my freaking heart. Like, yo, that's man, it's dope to do a tribute to somebody, but it's even doper to know that they love it. My wife, same thing, because the first verse is about her. Apparently, when I'm not in the car sometimes and she's with the girls, will sometimes play that track a few times. Like, she loves that track. So it's dope to make a tribute track for someone, but it's even doper when they enjoy it, even if it is a little emotional. But thank y'all for the questions. Hey, shout out to Soul Tiger. Thank you, man. I appreciate that contribution. No surprise for me that Adultish is dope from start to finish. All right, so let's get into these other joints. Timbaland is dope, criminally underrated, and it's partly because he's known for doing the more commercial stuff. But yeah, man, like a track, like one of the most disliked tracks on the Blueprint album is Ola Jovito, right? But that track, when you listen to the beat by itself, it is crazy, minus the catchy hook and all of that. And wham, 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 boom, boom, that the pocket groove that it has is like, it's nuts. It's nuts. And maybe Jay, that wasn't prime time Jay we got on that joint. But it's still an amazing beat on its own, and so many other tracks I could name right now, but I'm gonna stop. Let's get into the next one and keep it pushing, because literally after this last track plays, I gotta run. All right, here we go, y'all. Yes.
When I hear Adultish, I hear me.
Shout out to Sherman
I
Barber.
hear the struggle with being an adult, but understanding the importance of appreciating your childhood self and all the shit you had to come up through. I feel the ebbs and flows of parenthood, of working. It's the up and down of adulthood, because when you say adult, it just feels like one thing. It feels like being a responsible parent, paying bills. Oh, I turned off the rap music. I only listen to jazz, and I'm throwing in a little bit of classical now. Right. But Adultish it's me and a lot of my peers. Like, I still feel like hip hop is a large part of my existence and my character, my personality. I still listen to hip hop like I watch the news in the morning.
Facts.
I remember way back in the days. I remember way back in the days. Do you remember?
Shout out to DJ RBI and my brother T. Lucas.
Yeah. Listen. Never aim to be a caricature. Always working on my character, bruh. People say they want the real, and I'm here still. But where is the love? Put on for PG4. I heard somebody rep where I'm from. Worldwide, I get it done before I overdo it. Share my soul, but I don't want to lose it. Wasn't put here for your amusement. You gon' respect the man more than you respect the music. From where your safety is determined by your address. Some live long enough to be legends and gain some assets. Though it's rugged where we struggle through the madness. Always knew we had more to offer, although we had less. Through it all, it was always me and my mother. My sisters before they moved out, and occasionally my brother. The homies and the radio that stayed on 1580. TV on the box locked, hoping one day that they play me non-stop, son. Back when me rapping wasn't as lucrative, and Hot One wasn't a show that they interview you with. Hostile, no poetic justice, only punitive. Cops was fucking with us daily. We weren't doing shit regardless. Treat you like a felon though. Trying to sell my demo, so I kinda was selling dope. Was more addictive than the music. Acceptance. So we learned to turn our curses into blessings. Funny, got souls of fan. Styling artists, no matter the road ahead. We make progress if you know. A little favor for your soul. Keep on. I write like a book we read. Till we honest, live it up before I press my head. It's not as promise if you know. A little flavor for your soul. Enjoy.
A little kid from Fort Washington was always a Robinson Mall playing basketball in my David Robinsons. I moved to PG County when I was 5 was rhyming some, but wasn't that biggie like Bedford Stuyvesant. I had the butter Timbs, but Rick had the double soles. We was like brothers, so we would borrow each other's clothes. Get the most girls' numbers was our summer goals, and when she looked down at my feet, she'd be like, "What are those?" Jonah was our favorite pastime. Better not be outside if it was past 9. Dancing at the house parties. Now you trying to smash, huh? I was playing video games, Sega and Capcom, Fashions, RP55. And ain't they played Work the Walls like 50 times? At Patches Corner pool parties, it was really live. With your peach, Rock Creek, and some chili fries. Susan Heights, my alma mater. I was brought around a lot of different problem starters. Thought about just how to solve them. Calm and never thought of bothered, even when it's hotter water. Taught to keep it cooler than when you wearing the Eddie Bauer Parker. We would park up at the park and just spark up. Wasn't really long before a freestyle would start up. Run back and do my homework, think of how my day be. Turn on the radio and just vibe to 1580.
Got souls affair. Styling artists, no matter the road ahead. We make progress if you know, you know. A little flavor for your soul, your soul, your soul. Keep on, I write like a book we read. To be honest, live it up or I rest my head. Cause nothing's promised if you know, you know, you know. A little flavor for your soul, your soul, your soul. Enjoy.
Take it all back before this all happened. Take it back to 1580. Before this all happened. Do you remember? You heard it on the radio. Before this all happened.
Like the 1580 is song on commercial rap radio. Continues on, y'all.
Always first with the fact. This flavor 1580.
Keep on.
Yo, so yeah, man. Thank y'all for listening to Adultish. It is now available on Bandcamp along with all the different merch. Hats are temporarily sold out, but will be back in stock real soon. I'm sure that some of the other merch will be the issue very soon. So I would say don't take too long to cop certain things, with the exception of the shirts because they're made on demand. So, but yeah, man, USB cassettes are available now. I just got notification that the cover art was just delivered for them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, it's fixed now. And if so, then those will go on sale on Monday or start shipping on Monday if you already ordered them. Vinyl, actually, the test presses have been approved. So that should be coming in the next few weeks. So my hope is to get those out by probably the first week of August. Now we're a little bit behind schedule, but not too bad. So yeah, man, on that note, I really got to run because I got to pick up my youngest. But thank y'all so much, man. I'm really, really thrilled that everybody's loving the new record. Shout out to everybody in the chat who's been rocking with me, not just for today, but been rocking with me a very long time. Some of you that maybe fell off, but you're here now. I don't really care, man. I just appreciate the fact that, you know, most of y'all or all of y'all are still rocking with me after all these years. And y'all still feel like I'm making quality music because, you know, I believe that I'm doing some of my best work. But it's nice to get confirmation from others as well. So thank y'all, man, so much. I appreciate the love. But yeah, man, yo, appreciate y'all. Tone, I love you, man. Seriously, bro. Thank you so much, man. Yo, proud of you too, bro. Trying to keep it together right now because just knowing how much went into this record, you know what I mean? And how many of my brothers, Tone, Steph, Malcolm Jackson, Javier Starks, Uyama Hiroto, Shingo 2, Sherm the Barber, Marvelous Jones, my man Truth for sitting in on the call with us, Marcus D, Black Root, Tamara Wellens, T. Lucas, DJ RBI, DJ Hav, Matthew Shell, like all of these people who contributed to this record. Millen, shout out to Millen, who has an amazing album out right now. My brother Tone has a project also available right now. Y'all, thank all of y'all, man. Thank y'all to the fans. Thank you to everybody who contributed to the record. It's on Bandcamp right now. Go ahead and grab that if you can, if you haven't already. And yo, for those of you who don't use Bandcamp, don't worry. It's going to be on all streaming platforms in 2 weeks. On that note, I'm going to get out of here, son, before I get super emotional. Love all y'all, man. Thank y'all. Adultish out right now. Peace, y'all. Y'all be good.